Welcome.
Dude, we conquered the world.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this. This is cool, and thanks for taking the time. I know it's late there.
No problem.
Yeah, man.
Can
Uh,
can can you hear me okay?
I can. Your audio is coming through. Is mine good?
Oh yeah. You have
Right
a big
on.
echo.
There's a big echo
No, but it's good. I like it.
because I could use headphones. That would probably make it better. You want me to go grab some real quick? It's all
Nah,
good.
you're fine. You're
Okay.
fine.
All right. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
so this is where we'll say lights, camera, action, and I'm here
Oh
with
fuck.
I'm here with Vinny from the Scutches, and more recently solo work, and soon to come Killer Crush, a project that we'll be talking about. And I'm really stoked to get to talk to you and sort of meet you finally after a pretty long time of being in contact and just kind of bouncing ideas and sort of sharing, the experience of being a weird songwriter person, because
Yeah.
that describes both of us. So, yeah, man. I just want to start by saying kind of like how I became familiar with your work and stuff like that, and see what you have to say about that. Because I don't know, you,
Okay.
you might be interested in it. I mean, I'd seen people wearing the Scutches shirts and stuff, and I think like probably Miguel from Bottle Rocket and a couple other people that seen at shows and photos, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool, and it was like a highly recommended band, so I was like, oh, I gotta check it out. And eventually, I probably listened to some Bandcamp stuff, and I saw the live from wherever Rock Room or something like that. You guys did.
Yeah.
Uh, was that in Oregon or?
It was Chicago.
Oh,
Chicago.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it's suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, man. And I kind of went digging a little bit after that because I saw you guys perform, and I was like, wow, this is a great band, and I gotta check it out. And the songs were excellent. And what really interested me is that you guys were releasing things, pretty consistently, but in like a non-traditional way. It was like just like little bits here and there, but everything you released was like solid, like songwriting excellent, like good production, and you really seemed to have like a very pro approach to what you were doing, like took it really seriously. And then your song Don't Go popped up on the Bottle Rocket covers album, and I was like, hell yeah. And then I revisited that song. Cody in the liner notes said like this is a perfect pop punk song, and I agree, and so it was just fun to discover you guys, like just hearing about you on the periphery, and then kind of getting to the point where I wanted to research you myself and dive in. And I'm really glad I did, because your music is good, man, and you're very talented. So it's cool that I think you ended up reaching out to me at some point just to say hi, like, hey, like I know you're doing stuff too, and like let's be friends, kind of. And I was stoked. Like I was always really flattered because to me everything, just discovering you, it seemed like what you were doing, you guys were on like a like a higher level and sort of doing it for real. So I was like, oh man, this guy wants to talk to me, like that's awesome. And all the stuff you guys have done like has been pretty unique, to my mind, like everything from the cover art that you choose and the vibe that you guys have as a band. It kind of transcends pop punk to me. It's just more like very good rock and roll, and it's like it appeals to the pop punk sensibilities that I have, because I love pop punk too, but it's something something beyond, I feel like, because it's you're doing your own thing, and it's your own voice, that comes through in your songwriting. Whereas plenty of bands, you know, are very clearly inspired by something else. But with you guys, it's like this is your sound and this is your journey, So that's what I have to say as like an introduction.
Wow. Fuck. There's so much, dude. Yeah. I don't know where to start. Yeah, I think Cody was talking about you
Yeah,
at some point, like years ago, because
yeah,
I found you like what 3 years ago or something.
something like that. Yeah, seems like that's
Yeah,
about right.
and I don't forget where we were, but we were standing, I guess, in a parking lot. And he was talking to someone else. He goes, "Oh, you hear that fucking Grim Deed song, blah 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 blah. I'm like, Grim Deeds, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And so, and then and I saw that. So then I found you there, and you were promoting so many, um, you know, unknown people and
Mhm.
bands to me. I really don't know much about the world or popular music today. I like to live under my rock, and
Yeah.
so uh, and I'm like, oh shit, he's doing this and he's doing that. He's probably a really cool dude. So I want to talk to him.
Hell yeah, man. That's great. Well, it definitely worked out, and it's cool that Cody was the common thread because he's a close friend of mine, someone I really admire a lot, and he's always been kind of like a hero to me in terms of his talent and like what he's accomplished and stuff. And he's been very supportive too, and I know he's been like
Yeah.
supportive towards you as well.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cool, and like I know you guys have come a long way too, and you like I said, you take a professional approach. Like you book studios, you go, you record, you tour, you put a lot of work into this, and I really admire that because I think when you love something and you're good at it, you might as well take it as far as you can and do it as best you can. You know, not necessarily like with the spirit of becoming famous or something like that, but rather just doing it to the utmost of your ability and making sure you represent yourself the way that you would want to. And I think you guys have done a really good job of that. It comes across as very sincere and like if you take the chance to listen to it, it's very appealing music. It's got everything that rock and roll fan or punk rock fan would want to hear. So you guys are doing
Shit,
a
man.
good job.
Well, that really means a lot because where I come from, it uh only reason why I wanted to play the guitar was because I saw the movie La Bamba when I was a kid. I'm like, oh shit, now I want to do that.
Yeah, man.
Uh, so it literally comes from Richie Valens, Buddy Holly,
Yeah,
Beatles,
yeah,
Beach Boys,
yeah.
Beatles hardcore, but uh, Beach Boys, and then all the rest comes after that, of course.
Well,
But
that's
that's where it came from.
well, those classic foundations, I think those really come through. And that, and to me, the people I've met who are songwriters, when they list Buddy Holly and the Beatles and the Beach Boys as like their main influences, that kind of sets them apart in my book as far as like their caliber of songwriting, because usually it's much better than average. And I think that's definitely the case with you. And I like that you've branched out because you know you're the kind of guy that wants to keep making music under whatever the circumstances. And the single that you let me release was very well done, man. And really, I'm really looking forward to releasing what's next, which we'll talk about. But it's great that you just keep it moving and look for the opportunities to write and release what you want to do. And I think that's very important. And yeah,
Well, I'm,
when did you
I'm
decide like I want to keep it going, but on my own path? Like, because that was I think when you're in a band and there's other people involved, there's like a certain obligation you have to your friends and to your bandmates and stuff. But as a songwriter, it's up to you, to choose your own adventure. So when did you decide like, hey, I'm going to do some of my own stuff?
um, I've always had it on my mind,
Hmm.
but I we were always wrapped up in Scutch's stuff
Hmm.
because that was the main focus, at least for me. And then the guys in the band, of course, were like, okay, fucking, I'm gonna, we would always set aside time each year to do Scutch's tours
Yeah.
or Scutch's recordings. And so it was always in the back of my mind, but I never really wanted to do solo stuff.
Hmm.
I would always think, well, I'll run this by Tyler,
Hmm.
or I'll run this by whoever.
Hmm.
But just lately, I guess, of course, with this whole shitty thing happening in the world, it kind of dawned on me. Well, I just started to write these songs, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I already have the new Scutch's record, that's its own thing. So
Mm-hmm.
um, so now that I have this set up at home, I could do whatever I want, and then
Yeah.
I could ask whoever I want to play on it or sing on. I could send it to. I don't want to name drop, but
Yeah.
I could send it to this guy or that guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it. So it just kind of, I guess, made its own way,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a really lucky person to, you know, it's gonna sound cheesy and cliche, but these people that are working with me today, that it's my fucking dream. It, I would have never thought that I'd be working with these people,
Yeah.
especially on this level. Like they would trust me with sending me like 9-part harmonies
Yeah.
to to mix. I've never hands-on mixed stuff. I'd always like tell the engineer, okay, I want this
Yeah.
like that, blah blah blah. This whole me mixing it hands on just came about in the last year and a half because of
Yeah,
I'm
man.
home. So yeah,
Well,
it's
I,
crazy.
I admire you for doing it. I mean, I remember when I started, well, most of my stuff I record myself. And
Yeah.
when I was coming out, I was pretty insecure about that because I
Oh,
think,
dude, I'm so insecure still about it. Trust me. Trust me. You talk to Cody.
okay.
You talk
Well,
to Cody about that.
I know how it can go because you want to get your best possible result, and if
Yeah.
you lack the experience, and you're always going to second guess yourself. But I think you realized with the tools that are out there and what's possible, you're really you're better off just going for it and seeing what happens and sticking to it until it gets better. And because for me, that's what happened. I eventually got better at it, and you and I have an ear for the music, so we know what sounds good. It's just a matter of using the tools until you feel comfortable using them and finding what works for you. But you've got a great ear for production because I know the single you did yourself, right? The
Yeah.
Last One I Fooled, and just the idea of collaborating with people who aren't living where we are. I mean, that's the way that music works now, and the way that people consume music has changed, and the way that labels operate has changed. So I think like I think your instincts were correct because you're now you know you're letting your music exist in this digital era, and it's going to get out there because people know you and people will want to hear it, and you no longer have to feel obligated to do it like the old school way, like, oh, we're going to have to press this many CDs and get this label to sign on to do it and blah blah blah. I mean, that stuff was important to do at some point, but not anymore, man. You don't have to. Like, stuff that people see on their screen is what registers, and whether they check it out or not depends on other things that like you've already laid the groundwork for. So I think really all you have to do is just decide that you want to do it and go for it, which you have. So
Yeah.
I think it's like cool. It's kind of like a new chapter for you because now you're making use of your own setup, and it gives you a lot of freedom, hopefully a lot of inspiration too.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like the the real new stuff, like the Killer Crush
Yeah.
stuff that came up just uh, out of the blue. It was just an idea, and I didn't want to do it alone
Mm-hmm.
because if it's boring for me to think about and and step outside and look at, like, well, it would be cooler and more fun if I had a friend to do it. So
For
and
sure.
so then I reached out, and that's how it came about.
And it seemed like it didn't take you very long to put it all together. I mean, you sent me an album's worth of material, and I mean, we should just talk about it now. So Killer Crush is your current project, and you have given me the green light to help you release and promote it. And so this is going to be, I don't know, by the time this is edited and out, hopefully it will be out, and in different formats, because my goal is digital and physical, because I think
Yeah.
it deserves the physical treatment. And I'll use my resources to make that happen. So
Brilliant
yeah. So
resources.
tell me about like when I listen to it, I hear your voice, I hear your songwriting, but it is different. It's a different flavor, and it's not what maybe what people might expect. It's you've got a different sound. How would you describe it?
Oh, I have no idea, and I apologize for that. Because excuse me. One of the songs, um, one of my original songs on the Killer Crush record
Mhm,
is like um 4 years old, and it sat around for a bit, and as well as some of the new Scutches stuff that's about to come out, and it just sat around because just wasn't the right time.
mhm,
And once I got the idea, I'm like, well, that song would be pretty cool. And then I got these couple of tunes, and then I was talking to my friend from Germany, and so the idea was just we'll do an EP, and
mhm,
I'm gonna cover one of his songs because I really love this dude. He's way cool, and he's a great songwriter, great singer. And he he's like, well, okay, so I'll cover your song, you cover my song, then we'll do two originals. Just do a simple EP.
mhm,
And once we got that basically done and mixed,
mhm,
he sent me all the tracks, and then I mixed it here. Um, all these other songs started coming along. The very next day, once it was mixed, I got a voice message saying, "Dude, I got a new song. Check this out." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, that's a really good song." Then I went on a walk, and then I got an idea for another song. Came home and wrote a song. And
yeah,
I never write songs like that. I never ever write songs like that. It just comes to me, and then I sit with it for a while. I
mm,
don't just come home one day and just write a song.
wow,
That's and then it just turned into a full record,
that's
just
awesome.
like that. Really, it was like a ping pong thing. It sounds cliche, but that shit's real.
Yeah, man, that's really. I mean, I'm fascinated by that because the way songs come to me varies, and I wanted to ask you about that in our interview too, like what your usual sources of inspiration might be, or like your process, or what circumstances might lead to a song. Because I've thought about that type of stuff a lot, but it sounds like this collaboration had a lot to do with the momentum that you guys were getting, together and making it happen. Like, yeah, it sounds like it was meant to be, man. So, you know, that's really cool
Yeah,
that you were able to just pump them out, and it's a great record. So I'm really looking forward to releasing it. And do you want to mention your partner in crime here on the to the public, or should we leave that a secret for now?
uh, I I guess. Well, yeah, I guess I could say his name.
Okay.
Yeah, because we went ahead and did the whole Instagram thing, and
Okay.
so his name is, well, I pronounce it Lorenz Ebert. He's
Hmm.
German,
Hmm.
and he is from Germany. He lives in Germany,
Hmm.
lives in the German Alps, and that's all I'll say.
Right on.
Uh, he's a very young lad,
Okay.
um, but he's very talented, and I've been in cahoots with him just as buds for 4 or 5 years. He's a great dude, and he has his own thing. He he's like big in Spain. Like I don't know how he does it. He sings. He's fluent in Spanish and English and German.
Wow.
He's just an incredible person and very positive.
Do you think people from our scene are gonna like see him as kind of like a new figure as far as someone working with you, and like, will they have any familiarity with him from like pop punk and our little bubble, I guess, as they say?
Honestly, he started out as like pop punky,
Mhm.
kind of stuff, and that's how I got into him, and that's one of the songs that I cover on this record. But the songs that he contributed to this Killer Crush, it like varies.
Mhm.
So I already got some mixed emotions. I sent it out to very close friends,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, and I'm like, oh, okay. Uh, I got some really interesting responses.
Mhm.
So I really have no idea how it's gonna work because you've heard the record.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
My impression of it is like it's two experienced songwriters with talent who are just exploring and like trying different moods and different emotions and
yeah.
doing what works without worrying too much about whether it fits. And that's awesome.
Well, yeah. The the idea, without even having an idea about it going into it, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
was anything goes
Yeah.
because I don't we don't fucking give a shit. We're just, you know, these songs just came about
Yeah.
and we're gonna do whatever we feel needs to be done for the songs. It's
Yeah.
all for the songs.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
great.
It- It's
I feel
very, very simple.
yeah, I feel like with the Scutches, like a similar approach that you take with that material as well. It's like your song craft is very meticulous, it seems, because everything serves the song and it doesn't seem to have any other agenda other than making the music good, which is great, you know. Because I sometimes I have different sources of inspiration, like something I need to get off my chest. It might come across a little heavy-handed or something, but I feel like
Oh yeah.
you have an eloquence in the way that you write songs, and it's great because to create timeless music is difficult. It's unless you're seasoned and talented, and I think I see the value in striving to create something that will be still relevant 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, and people can hear it and still relate to it, because a lot of the stuff I grew up on, like punk rock wise, hasn't aged that well. It has its place in time. You hear it and you're like, oh, 1992, some shit like that. But I feel like sorry, the printer printing something right now.
No
Your
worries.
your tunes are going to stand the test of time, and that's I like to surround myself with people who can push me, and I feel like our association has made me realize, like, you know that I should set my bar as high as possible, to make the songs stand the test of time. And I feel like Killer Crush definitely the same feel to it. So it's timeless music, man. So
Speaking of the way you do things, I love the I don't know exactly what it was, but you posted a video of how to write a pop punk song. It's
yeah.
fucking great.
Oh, thanks.
That's exactly how you do it.
Yep, that's my
It's
method
perfect.
pretty much. And yeah, it's evolved somewhat over the years, but my whole attitude is I know I can do it. I just have to make it happen. And I know that I have things to say. I've got, ideas that I think are worth sharing. And it's just really a matter of making it work, with whatever you've got, whatever logistics you have to navigate, or technology or experience or lack thereof. And you just, I don't know, man. I came out of the gate swinging, and I just want to continue to, you know, make good music and commune with people who are like-minded. And I think we have a great opportunity to do that with all the people we're connected with, via the internet and across the oceans. And we're in a great moment right now. I feel really lucky because timing does matter, with
Oh yeah,
your success
absolutely.
and stuff like that. And I think we've got a real good scene going right now. So I feel lucky.
Yeah, it's uh super no pun intended, super grim times,
Yeah.
but everybody is really positive, and
Mhm.
that's inspiring to me because I'm usually not that positive.
Yeah.
Everybody has their moments, but if I see my buds, like, all right, let's fucking party, let's rule. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking rule.
Yeah. We do definitely kind of feed into that energy. Like when you're releasing stuff, that gets me stoked. And when I release stuff, I want to make other people stoked. And it just, that's why community is so important with music and supporting each other's music. I think that's really important too. And as you say, you know, musicians and creative people in general are people that typically have a lot of pain and sensitivity to life. And I wanted to ask you about that because I've struggled through severe depression. I've had trauma in my life, from childhood, and I've had a lot of negative shit in my head for many, many years that I've had to reckon with. And songwriting has helped me a lot, but so has experience and wisdom and stuff like that. But
Of
do you
course.
think like music is something that you know I don't know, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I know that for me it's not easy to be the kind of person who even wants to write songs, because I think what it says about you is that A, you're very aware and you're very sensitive to the world, and B, you probably have a painful history of some kind that you're trying to deal with on some level. I don't know. Can you relate to that? Like, just
Yeah, every
difficulty
time,
being alive.
every single day. um I there's always a question. Well, I have a very small apartment, and I
Mhm.
share it with my beautiful, lovely friend who I've
Mhm.
known for years. And he's barely even here. And when he is, he's great. But it's 2 bedroom, and the living room that I'm in now, you can't really see much of it, but you do, I'm sure, on the interwebs. That I walk into the space, and my guitars are here, my drums sometimes are here, and then my setup. And I look at it a lot of days, like, and I think, like fucking hell, this is what it's come to, because I've never fancied myself as a songwriter,
Mhm.
as an artist, or any of that, or a lyricist, or anything. I started out as a drummer in
Mhm.
punk rock bands.
Mhm.
A drummer, that's it. And but when I started writing songs, I really don't know why I did it, but I'm glad I did. Thing is, now I write songs a lot, and I don't even know what they're about until they're done.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's something
So,
in you that compels you to do it.
oh yeah, yeah, it's a push.
Mhm.
Uh, for some, I really can't explain it.
Mhm.
It's I really don't know.
Well,
It's magic, really.
it's interesting that it hits you later too. I mean, I always loved music, but I didn't try writing music till I was in my mid late 20s, and maybe I didn't have the confidence to try it or something, but once I did, I was hooked. It's like the best
Oh
drug,
yeah,
you know. Cody said that before too. It's like the best high is when you finish a song and it's a good one. And
oh yeah. That's the greatest high,
yeah, it's a
greatest.
magical moment. And sometimes that inspiration is just really elusive, and you never really know when the idea is going to strike you. And it hasn't happened to me in a while, to be honest. Like I've written songs that I'm satisfied with, but sometimes you just get like almost like divine inspiration. An idea comes to you, and you're just like, whoop,
Oh yeah.
there's a great song. I got to make it happen. Sounds like that happened with you a few times with Killer Crush too.
Oh, that whole divine thing, and it just flying down out of, like, many old rock stars have spoken about this, and I'm not calling myself a rock star at all.
Hmm.
but but it's just like, it just flies in. And for some reason, you have it in your head, and it's a melody and a lyric, or it's the full thing, or you wake up and there's a melody in your head. It's that's absolutely true. And anybody else outside of this, they're gonna think, oh, that's fucking bullshit. Oh fuck. Oh, there he's just fucking saying something Paul McCartney said or Keith Richards said. But it's goddamn true. It's I like I said, when Lorenz, after our EP was mixed and finished, and I'm like, oh, okay, sweet, I'm gonna try and master it. Great. The next day he goes, dude, I got this. I'm like, fuck, now I gotta mix another fucking song.
Yeah, yeah,
And but once he sent me the rough demo, it was like, oh shit, that's badass. And then I went for a walk,
yeah.
and then I came up with a song. I hummed it into I hummed like 7 or 8 different parts into my phone. Came home, tracked it, and I'm like, "Yo, dickhead, I got one too."
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, it's great that we have these tools. I always have my phone ready to record. I mean, a lot of times I'll have to
Oh,
jump out of the shower and record, or like
oh,
I'll be on
perfect.
a bike ride, I have to pull over and or try to record it while I'm on my bike and stuff. And it just Dr. Frank, one time I was having a conversation with him, and he said it's like catching lightning in a bottle, and you got to act fast, otherwise it might just evaporate. And then it's like
Oh,
you might kind of approximate the idea, but unless you get it down in its purest form, you might regret.
absolutely. Demos are the most important,
Hmm.
and even the way, like you do a vocal on a demo, and
Yeah.
then you try and record it in the studio, it doesn't sound that great.
Hmm.
You're like, fuck, why doesn't it sound like the demo? Because it's not in the moment,
Yeah, you're
you
right.
know. So it's
Yeah.
very important to have something around to blah 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 into.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's cool too. From my point of view, we're kind of like we're receiving whatever this inspiration, and we're able to filter it through our own brains and our own personalities and get it out there. And that's why your songs don't sound like my songs, and Cody's songs don't sound like anybody's songs. It's like it comes
Thank
through
God.
yeah, it comes through our brains though. It's like our personality is reflected in how we create the thing that inspired us, and that's fascinating to me. I mean, it's just like it's like our accent or something. And if music is
Yeah,
language, and it's really special because something I try not to take for granted is the idea that if you have a unique style and something someone can hear it and know it's yours, that's something really unique and special. Because there's plenty of musicians who can play their asses off, play way
yeah,
better than I ever could, but they
yeah.
lack whatever that essential ingredient is to be a songwriter. So I would never trade it. I would rather be the mediocre musician that I am and still be able to write songs rather than a shredding guitarist or something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It sucks, but yeah,
Yeah.
I would absolutely. Yeah, I
That's
would
where
never trade it.
collaboration comes in, though. I mean, actually, all the guys in the Scutches are great musicians, man. All the guys you worked with, and I mean, that's what elevates it too. Is if you are willing to be flexible enough to work with other people and let them shine, like
Yeah.
then you
Well, that
great.
took me a lot of years
Hmm.
to not be a studio Nazi, for the lack of better
Right.
words or terms.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I'm super proud of and love everybody that's been in
Hmm.
and is in.
Now, none of the
Love
guys
them.
live near you, right? Like everybody's kind of here and there.
No,
It's like,
no. Last for about I think, yeah, 4 or 5 years.
mhm.
It's steady lineup, but trick is one's in Wyoming,
Yeah.
one's in Chicago, uh, one is in Denver, one's in England, and one's in New York.
Yep. So,
So there you go.
well, anything's possible these days. I mean, one of the things I'm working on right now is with someone in Sweden, and and like
Perfect.
it's just a matter of being willing to do it. I mean, the technical aspects aren't really that hard to overcome. Just
No.
email me the idea, drop it in the timeline, mix it. There you go.
Yep.
and that's improved my thing a lot, because I can always just do my own stuff, but whenever I have the chance to collaborate and I know it's going to be good, it's like that's a blessing, because now not only do I have my home recorded stuff, but now I have like something that sounds different than if it was just me, and something that's better. It's you know, it's always worth it to collaborate, I think.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it's I'm super glad that I've grown older,
Mhm.
because the only reason why I'm glad is because I've, I guess, become more open
Yeah.
to everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, no matter who or what they are or on what level.
Yeah.
Levels don't mean anything. Statuses don't mean anything. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's pretty incredible.
Well, you give yourself a lot more opportunities when you are open minded and willing to give things a try. That's something new. I think that
Yeah,
you know it's something I've only recently come to realize is that I can do anything I want and still call it Grim Deeds. I don't have to change it and make it a new project just because I want to write a metal song or something. It's just it's me, you know.
yeah,
And so I've done a
yeah,
lot of weird shit, but it all kind of comes back to what people know. And I feel like now with your Killer Crush project and the single that you put out, it's similar because I can hear it and I know it's you, but it's a different flavor and it's a different part of you that you're sharing. And it's special because of that.
yeah,
If you do everything kind of by the numbers for your whole career or whatever, then you're missing out on opportunities to show the full picture of who you are as a songwriter.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of the songs on it are mixed completely differently. They're I don't copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
It's to the song, how I feel that day,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really give a fuck if Lorenz likes it or not. It's that's
Yeah, yeah, man.
but I know he's gonna like it because it sounds good. I think it sounds nice and big. As long as it sounds big, when you're working with someone else, it always tends to sound bigger
Mm-hmm. You're right.
for me. You
Yeah.
know, with a different voice on it, even like a harmony, it sounds much bigger.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
agree.
great.
Yeah. Do you have people like rooting for you, like family members or friends who are kind of like aware of how good you are and how this is like an important thing in your life? Because for me, my wife understands that this is important to me, but she's not a punk fan at all. And
Yeah,
my family knows that I play music and it's something that I'm always doing, but they're not, uh, they're not as capable of really getting what I do as like you are, or friends.
for
So
sure.
what's your situation as far as that goes? Do you have people who you're close to in your life that really relate to what you're doing?
Family wise, I think they're so used to it
Yeah. Yeah.
that they're like, "Oh, great, that sounds great,
Yeah.
lovely, okay, cool." Uh, which I understand. You know, it's I'm not young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm I'm not old, but I'm
Yeah.
not young, and
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a while, so I understand that. But uh, all the friends that are stoked about it are miles away from me, so that gets pretty hard.
Yeah, I relate to that for sure. Because
You
my
know.
to get the feeling of acknowledgement that I sometimes need, I look to the
Of
outside world. The people who
course,
I'm
yeah,
in touch with, and people who want to know what I'm up to. It makes a difference to have people kind of in your corner.
yeah,
Because
absolutely.
yeah,
The morale
yeah,
is everything. It really is. Don't want to sound like Hitler,
right,
but the morale is, that's basically everything, especially when you've been doing it for so long.
for sure. And I've found that being part of the community and just letting people know when you're stoked on something that they've done or just wanting to share it with others, that's like its own reward, because it's not hard to do. Like my friend comes out with the album, I'm going to share it. I'm going to tell people about it. I'm going to offer whatever support I can do. And that makes me feel good almost more than if it's my own thing, because it's like,
Yeah.
because it naturally grows this thing we're creating, and it develops it into something more solid and almost more like a family, which I appreciate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What are your plans for Killer Crush? Like, do you think it's going to be an ongoing project? Do you think you're going
It's
to
going to
come?
be bigger than the Beatles.
Haha.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I already know. I already know. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't have any plans. I know it's because we're such good pals,
Hmm.
Lorenz and I. We're on to the next,
Hmm.
uh,
Good.
and we're in contact, in touch every day. And he has his own solo record coming out, and I think it's gonna be an ongoing thing,
Right on, man.
and I'm pretty stoked about it because it's an open-ended deal.
Hmm. Plus, you've got your setup and you've got your experiences, and pandemic or no pandemic, bandmates or no bandmates, like you can keep making music as long as you want to, and as long as you're inspired to. There's nothing really to hold you.
Yeah. Well, I also want to say I've had a lot of help from my friends.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, like mixing wise, because I completely new to a year and a half ago. I didn't use a DAW,
Mm.
a digital audio workspace. I used either a 8-track digital recorder like a Tascam
Mhm.
or an analog fucking desk. Um, so this being much more faster,
Mhm. Mhm.
much more fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, sorry.
No, that's all good.
Uh, I've had a lot of help from my friends, mainly Felipe from Green Door Recordings and
Mhm.
Perry, Lean
Travolta,
House. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
genius there. They're amazing.
Oh, he's a really great guy
Yeah.
and great voice.
Mhm.
Um, so on the technical side, I've had a lot of help from them, specifically from
Mhm.
those two.
Right on.
Um, so I definitely don't ever want to leave them out because without them, I would have been fucking still googling shit or
Yep.
YouTube and crap.
Well, to appreciate your friends and their contributions, that's what kind of keeps us humble, because you're right.
Yeah,
What I've accomplished, I couldn't have done without Cody's help. I couldn't have done it
yeah,
without a lot of people's help. And
yeah,
you have to be very grateful and honor them by doing your best going forward. And I have a lot of reasons
yeah,
to continue doing it and to make it as good as I can, because I want to honor people like David Jones, and I want to honor Cody, and I want to honor
yeah.
my good friends who have inspired me. And you're a great
Absolutely.
source of inspiration to me too, man. So it's like I love doing these interviews because usually I end up getting to interview people who I'm big fans of. So
Oh shit.
you know, it's a cool thing.
That's I don't know how to take that, man. That I have to sleep on that and then I'll let you know in the morning.
Right,
But
man.
that really means a lot.
Well, it is getting later there, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want to say this has been a really cool opportunity for us to meet pretty much for the first time
Yeah.
virtually. And I'm very excited for people to hear Killer Crush. And I think it's going to be possibly, like a game changer, like a new chapter where people are going to see your music as, you know, what it is, a very timeless example of sincere, talented songwriting. So, yeah, I'm stoked for it.
Well, I really hope you're right.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, you're going
Well,
for it regardless. So,
it's gonna happen.
mhm.
So I'm just glad that you're on board.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I got to say, I never really planned to try to have whatever you can call a label these days, but to be able
Yeah.
to promote it and know that it's going to get to more people, it feels good. And it's funny because what the whole social media thing has allowed for is ease of communication and ease of sharing things. And people who are interested in this music can hear it easily. That's that's the cool part.
I want to talk to you a lot more.
Yeah, man. Well,
Let's
hey,
just let's just do that.
yeah, we'll just have to keep it going, keep the conversation
Yeah,
going. Because
for sure.
it's a lifelong journey. So having some lifelong friends really really helps.
Oh, by the way, before we end this,
Yeah.
um, I remember, years ago. It was sounds so old. Thrill. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. We were out on the West Coast. So was Bottle Rocket,
Nice.
and I remember. I'm not talking shit about you. Just saying. Uh, I think this is how it went. It was we were like on each other's tails, and we had no idea that Bottle Rocket was out there. We were in San Diego. Bottle Rocket was in L.A.
Mm.
You were there, and then and I think I messaged you,
Oh,
or yeah, I think so. And and I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna be in L.A. and you said, try and make it. I just did something. I think you played that show with
well,
Bottle Rocket.
I probably was just along for the ride because with my job, I'm a teacher and I got like spring break at the same time they were touring a couple years in a row.
All right.
And Cody's just like, come hang out. So like, I think it was that. I think I was just hanging
Oh, it was that. Okay.
out.
Well, I was always confused, obviously, but and I think that's. But my point is, the first time that I contacted you, I think that was the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That goes way
I think I
back then.
said, yeah, that's like probably 4 years, like 2017,
They were probably touring for Freak Out or something like that. Yeah.
like 117 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how things happen. And then
Yeah,
here we are talking face to face. It's
yeah, it's perfect.
yeah, it's
It
rad.
really is. It really is.
Right on, Vinny. Well, I know we'll stay in touch. And for
Oh yeah, man.
the viewers out there, keep an eye out for Killer Crush. Check out Vinny's single that I put out on Laptop Punk Records. Great song. Last one I fooled. And then if you haven't checked out the Scutches yet, you're really missing out. And I mean, I'm for sure everybody knows about it by now, but it's like, dude, go just listen to it again. You won't be disappointed. You might get inspired to write a song yourself. So yeah, man, I'll let you
Thank
go
you.
get some shut eye, man, on the East Coast. I mean, it's starting to
I'm
get dark.
trying.
I'm sure like the sun's about to come up there. Got to get some rest.
Yeah, I have to be up in about 2 hours, but
Oh my
thanks.
gosh. Well,
Just kidding.
yeah, but still, thanks for taking the time. And we just got the idea to do this kind of last minute, so we went for it.
Yeah, literally yesterday, I think.
Yep. But that's how you got to do things sometimes.
Fuck
Seize,
yeah, man.
seize the day, carpe diem.
Perfect.